Good morning. The May 17th, 2022 meeting of the Charter Authorizing Panel is called to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Department of Education auditorium and ask that you please silence all of your devices. We do have our presenters joining us via Zoom today, and we do have several of our charter panel members, Mr. Davis, Mr. Baldwin, Ms. Newton, are online, and Ms. Saraceni and Dr. Flowers are here in the auditorium with me. So good morning, everyone, and with no additional ado, let's get right into the consent agenda. You've had the opportunity to look at the minutes. And are there any revisions to the minutes, or do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
So I have a motion from Ms. Saraceni and a second from Dr. Flowers to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dr. Davis, Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Ms. Newton? Okay, minutes are approved as submitted. All right, our first agenda item, Ms. Summons, if you will present.
Good morning, Dory Summons, the DESE Director of Charter Schools. The charter is requesting to merge Friendship Aspire Pine Bluff, Friendship Aspire of Little Rock, and Friendship Aspire Southeast Pine Bluff. They also want to change the grade levels served from grades 10 through 12 to grades 5 through 12, and increase the enrollment cap for Southeast Pine Bluff from 25 to 75 students. We have 3 virtual attendees representing Friendship Aspire: Mr. Joe Harris, Dr. Tran, and Ms. Virginia Perry.
If you are speaking on behalf of Friendship Aspire, if you will raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay. All right. So we have prepared a spreadsheet that I would like to share, and hopefully as we go through this, Ms. Perry and Tran, if you'll help us confirm or change.
Yeah.
It was kind of confusing, and so I know we've been back and forth, and we just want to make sure that we've got the most accurate information. So let me put that up on our screen.
Ms. Kaufman, do you want me to start off with a little bit of context to why we're asking for this consolidation, ma'am?
Yes, and we'll do that as we go along.
Okay, sure.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, so the first thing that we think we understood is that you want to put all 5 of your schools under Friendship Aspire Academies Arkansas, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, ma'am.
Okay. And then you're going to rename some of your schools, and so we've tried to capture that. Our understanding is the nomenclature of the school names will be Friendship Aspire Academy, then the location, and then the third part of the nomenclature will be elementary or middle if applicable.
Correct, ma'am.
So that would be Friendship Aspire Academy Downtown Pine Bluff, Friendship Aspire Academy Pine Bluff, Friendship Aspire Academy Southeast Pine Bluff, removing the word high, Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Elementary, Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Middle School. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next thing that we were looking at is we were trying to identify what the current cap is in each building. So if you'll go over that with me and confirm or raise into question anything that you think is incorrect. So our understanding is that Friendship Aspire Academy downtown Pine Bluff is going to be its own separate school that will open this fall. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
And your cap, it will be 400 students in that building.
Yes, ma'am.
Friendship Academy Pine Bluff, their cap is 480 students.
Yes, ma'am.
Friendship Aspire Academy Southeast Pine Bluff, their cap is 720 students.
Yes, ma'am.
Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Elementary, and Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Middle School have a joint cap that we need you to help us break apart. So right now you're approved for 685 across both campuses, but we actually need a cap per building.
So the elementary school was 480, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna put 480 cap. All right,
Yes,
so that will leave, in the-
205 for the middle school, ma'am.
so that will leave 205 for the high
Yes,
school?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That will give a grand total cap for the Friendship Aspire Academies Arkansas at 2,285 total, correct?
That's correct.
All right, perfect. All right, so we went back through and we were trying to follow along because it kind of got confusing when we got to Friendship Aspire Academy Southeast Pine Bluff.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the one where you've been progressively taking the high school out and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
starting back in with
Yes, ma'am.
elementary. So while you do have a cap of 720, your progressive cap for this
Changed.
coming year was 25, but you're wanting to raise it to 75.
That is correct.
Okay, so it doesn't change your overall cap, it's just your progressive cap.
Correct. So we're just trying to open up the seats, not increase the seats.
Correct. And
Yes.
then we were a little confused because our understanding is during the next school year, you will have 5th grade and 12th grade on site.
Yes, ma'am.
But what you're asking to do over time is to build it into a 512. Is that correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to confirm is that even though we're making all of these changes and we will issue a new contract,
Yes, ma'am.
that you are maintaining the same waivers and that your charter will expire June 30th, 2023, and we'll come back and build out your next length of charter and what the progressive caps will be for that at that time. Is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
All right, good deal. All right, let me come back and I'm going to go ahead and leave this up, Tran, and let you then
Sure.
give some background, some rationale for why you're making the changes and what all's going on.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Well, thank you again for having us this morning. We appreciate that, and thank you for hearing us. At Friendship, at this moment in time, our school, we have, before I forget, let me do the introductions. We got Miss Virginia Parrish, she's the Deputy Superintendent, and we got Mr. Joe Harris on the line, who's the CEO of Friendship Education Foundation. So originally we have 3 LEAs. So we have the Pine Bluff, which is the Hazel Street, that is its own LEA. Then we have the Little Rock and the Middle School, which is its own LEA as well. And then finally, we have the Southeast High School, where we took over last year, and they were on its own LEA. So they had their own separate LEAs, separate contracts, separate books, and separate everything. And so the reason why we're coming to you this morning to request a consolidation is so that we can streamline everything and make our operations and our books a little bit easier to do. Because at this moment in time, as you know, you've got three separate, I guess, LEAs, and that just sometimes complicates everything, being that we're still under, the Friendship Aspire Arkansas banner. And so that's why we thought that it would be easier in consolidating and then putting it all under one LEA under the Friendship Aspire Academy Arkansas LEA, and that should help with the streamlining of operation, the streamlining of books, the streamlining of finances, and standards as well. So instead of doing 3 standards, we can do 1 standard, which will encompass the whole district. But at the same time, just make it a little bit easier to operate, so on and so forth.
Thank you, Tran. Are you ready for questions?
Sure. Mr. Harris, do you have anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Harris? No? Okay. Yes, we're ready for questions, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Davis, if you would like to begin.
Yeah, just a couple questions for me, and this all makes sense. But considering that you are in various communities, i.e., Little Rock and Pine Bluff, clearly there is some cultural difference between Little Rock and Pine Bluff. Help me understand what you're doing to sort of create this one umbrella, or speak to this idea of creating a school culture where both institutions can thrive, but at the same time recognizing the independent difference between the two.
Sure, most definitely. So, we, even though we are operating under 3 separate LEAs, we still, if you look at it virtually, we're still operating the same, because all of our teachers, we try to have the same processes, procedures, the same handbooks, professional development, PLC, so on and so forth throughout our network. So it's not like it's different, even though the schools, like for example, the schools itself, the principals, they bring their own uniqueness to the school, right? But the actual operations and everything, it has always been the same. And it has always been functioning under Friendship Aspire Academy. And, the foundation has been the management organization helping that, driving that to ensure that culture, to ensure that process and procedures, to ensure that everything else is the same, so that the teachers in Pine Bluff gets the same professional development, the same process and procedures as those in Little Rock, and so vice versa. So at this moment in time, our team is one very tight-knit group. The principals, they share ideas among each other, like what they're doing at their school, that's different. Like in Little Rock, and what Pine Bluff is doing different in what the principal is doing different in Pine Bluff. So even though we are common, they're still a little bit different depending on the geographic location that they're located, based upon the actual principal that's there. And so we try to give that autonomy to the principal to give that uniqueness to that school, because like for example, like you said, Mr. Davis, Little Rock might be a little bit different than Pine Bluff. And that in itself is reflected by the principal in the way that they operate their schools.
Thank you. Nothing further from me.
Sure.
Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, thank you. And this does make a lot of sense. I really just have 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not a professional educator, so this first question may be from that context. So the merger of the LEAs, explain to me exactly what benefits you get by merging the LEAs together.
So at this moment in time, I'll give you operation-wise. So usually, because we have 3 LEAs, we have to do 3 standards of accreditation per LEA. So consolidating the LEAs together, instead of doing 3 standards of accreditation, we just do 1. Okay. Also, with let's look at another one, child nutrition. Because we want 3 LEAs, we have to do 3 types of requests for reimbursement, books and paperwork for child nutrition, right? Because we have 3 schools and 3 LEAs. So for example, at this moment in time, even though it's 3 LEA, what child nutrition does is it sends the funds to one school and we have to disperse it to the other schools. So again, consolidating the LEAs together allows us to streamline that process, and then that way we don't have to take that extra time to find out, okay, how many students we serve at Rock, how many students we serve at Southeast, to go ahead and disperse the funds. It'll just be under one accounting book, which will be easier to maintain, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so it's really, you're stating from a reporting and compliance responsibility, which makes sense. I mean, that sounds like an easier way to do it.
Yes, sir.
The other question would be, and I was a little bit surprised that you all said that you anticipate no changes in your budget, because it would seem that there's possible efficiencies and some budget changes that could occur, even though they may not be large. Do you think that over time, the ease of reporting and compliance will allow you to be more operationally efficient and maybe economically efficient?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So at this moment in time, we operate very efficiently. You know, we put all the money back into the classroom, and all of our finances for every single school, even Southeast, is in the black. But to your point, most definitely it will be more efficient because it allows us to easily manage those books. So over time, most definitely, to your point, it will become much better.
Yeah, and we've presented conservative budget numbers, but we think in time we will actually see cost savings by consolidating.
I would agree. This sounds like a smart decision. That's all my questions, Madam Chair.
Ms. Newton?
There, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, great. Those questions that Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Davis were my questions also, and then certainly like Mr. Baldwin, I'm not a professional educator, and I tend to look at things more from a social work aspect. So I'm wondering, these are various communities. So I want you to address, Mr. Davis talked about culture, and I want you to talk to us about the cultures of the schools, primarily, say in Little Rock, they're in different areas and different communities, so the culture is different. What adjustments or what expectations or what approaches or interventions will be different or leveraged to address the different populations?
If I could start this one, the system itself essentially will be respectful and responsive to the needs of both the parents and the kids at each individual campus. For example, we hired our first social worker that works now across all of the campuses. She's doing it in a school by school basis. And we're seeing that each of our campus, to some degree, some more than others, need different support for both families. And we're developing our own resource manual where it responds to the local and immediate resources that are available for that school. So that's part of kind of how we're being respectful of the neighborhoods and the communities. We know we're talking about two different cities, and we will continue to respond to them the way that we are as two separate communities. And I'm saying communities being two separate cities. So our plan is to not consolidate the culture and the way that we respond to communities. Instead, do it the way that we're doing it right now, which is, we believe is successful, is responding to the needs of that individual community and school and parents.
And also at the same time, we have a lot of parent meetings. So we listen to our parents, and also we provide, our parent surveys. And so each school looks at the parent survey and the parent meeting, and we tweak our model to, to service the community in each community.
Thank you.
Dr. Flowers?
Thank you. What type of impact do you foresee this consolidation having on teachers, especially with professional development?
Sure. So I don't think there will be a negative impact because at this moment in time, we service all of our teachers. So for example, at the end of every single year, not the end, at the beginning of every single year, we have a 2 to 3 week boot camp. The first week is where we go ahead and onboard our new teachers, our new staff. And then towards the second, third week, that's when we have a big 2-week boot camp where everybody in our network, regardless of which campus they're in, we come together and we provide professional development to them, from curriculum to culture to anything that they request. Because again, we also, based on previous years, we provided a survey to our teachers to say, okay, what is good? What is it that they like and what is it they don't like? And then based upon that, we kind of like provide, we do our programming for the next following year. So I don't think it changes at all. I think it just makes it better. The consolidation, it's kind of like just makes it look better. But everything that we're doing right now is doing as a network wide. So it doesn't change and it's not going to change.
Thank you for that clarity.
Sure.
Ms. Saraceni?
I just really have a comment. I want to say I commend you for trying to streamline and make this more efficient, and I look forward to your renewal in the spring of 2023 because I know this will just get you to that point. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Tran, I have a few more clarifying questions. I want to look at the 22-23 row on the spreadsheet, and let me see if I can make it a little bit larger. So what we're seeing is at Friendship Aspire Academy, downtown Pine Bluff, you will be open in the 22-23 school year for K1.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have, you have a cap of 400. Do you want a progressive cap for next year?
So I think at this moment in time, we should leave it like that, Miss Kaufman, because that allows us flexibility, to do what we need to do, because otherwise we might have to come back in front of you and change it. So leaving it open like that, I think just allows us operational wise to do what we need to do for that school downtown.
Okay, and then the plan for that building downtown is that it will eventually be a K2 building, is that correct?
K3 building, ma'am.
K3.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then at Friendship Aspire Academy Pine Bluff,
Yes, ma'am.
for 2022-23, will it be K4 or K5 next year?
So that building will be a K4, and that's why we're asking to move the 5th grade over to Southeast, so that to allow our students in the 5th grade to start acclimating to the middle school. At this moment in time, we are in the process of renovating that site so that it can start to accommodate
And so will it remain a K4 building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you you'll keep your cap at 480 there, or just keep that open?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then at Friendship Aspire, that answers that question. Okay. Friendship Aspire Academy Southeast Pine Bluff, you are requesting that it become a 512 with
Yes, ma'am.
the larger cap of 720, but next
Yes, ma'am.
school year it will only have 5th and 12th graders for a cap of 75.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay, so let's take that off. And Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Elementary is going,
480.
it's going to be a K4. What's the grade configuration?
Yes, that is correct. So this year it's a K3, so we're going to add on a grade next year, which will be a fourth grade, so it'll be a K4 math.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the cap for that is 480, and you'll keep that one open.
Yes, ma'am.
And then finally, Friendship Aspire Academy Little Rock Middle School will
Yes, ma'am.
serve grades 6 through 8 next year, and your cap is 205 students.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That answers all my questions.
Okay,
And
great.
Thank you for working through that. We'll clean this up and make sure this is clean so that we can put it on the state board agenda as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Any legal concerns, Ms. James? I know we did, I did ask you earlier, but we will issue a new charter
Yes,
if this is approved.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Whitney James with the department. We will issue a new charter contract because some of the information has changed. We want to make sure that the enrollment is clearly outlined. I don't have any legal concerns because Friendship is not asking for any new waivers.
And so the waivers they currently have will apply, elementary waivers will apply to elementary, high school waivers to the high school, and middle school to the middle school.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
And one more thing, Tran, just to confirm that by going under one charter, everything that you described in the reduction of work for having that one charter kind of like at a district level
Yes, ma'am.
certainly meets the standards, makes it meeting the standards and the accountability for that much easier. But you will have an LEA number for each of the schools in addition for all 5 of those, and they will be required to meet standards at the school level, so district and
Yeah.
then the school level.
Yes, most definitely, ma'am.
All right, and then if approved, after the state board meeting, I would recommend that you work with the charter office and school performance office on filling out the LEA change request so
Yes, ma'am.
that it's very clear about what 22-23 school year would look like. So
ma'am.
let them help you so we get it right the first time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll accept a motion.
I have a motion. I move to approve the request from Friendship to increase their student population and to consolidate their campuses as stated, and to consolidate the LEAs.
I second.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Newton and a second by Ms. Saraceni to approve the amendment for Friendship Aspire Academies, Arkansas. All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, motion is approved. If you'll take just a moment, panel members, to fill out your voting sheet.
Ms. Kaufman, I'm not able to work it within a sheet. So I'll just have to tell you.
If you'll tell us what you want to say, I'll have someone
Okay.
on the charter team fill it in as we go.
Okay, I vote yes, and the reason is that the proposal the proposal will consolidate and streamline planning and operations for this charter.
Thank you, Ms. Newton. Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, I vote yes. I think the change is appropriate and forward-looking for the Aspire Academy system. And I do believe that it will allow them to be more efficient in the future.
Mr. Davis?
I vote yes in order to provide a streamlined approach to the administration and better coordination between the schools and the various campuses.
Ms. Saraceni?
I support the approval to merge, change grade spans, and increase enrollment cap. This will streamline efficiency across all schools.
And Dr. Flowers?
I support the approval of the Friendship Aspire merger request and propose caps on the 14th grade about how we really implement and streamline procedures will have a positive impact on the educational experiences of our students.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations, Friendship.
Thank you, Ms. Kaufman.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Before we adjourn, just a couple of housekeeping things. We do have a June meeting scheduled. We have 2 amendments on the agenda right now that will come before you. That should be a very quick meeting. And then we are planning to do some type of work session either at the end of June or early July. So I'll ask Ms. Summons to send out a list of dates and see if everyone is available, and any topics that you would like for us to ensure that we discuss at that time. I know that our team has been diligently working with our potential open enrollment and potential district conversions that are coming in. We have had intents, they've been through training, and now they're working on their applications. So they've put together a lot of really good training that they can make available to you, but we really do want to make sure that we're answering questions and conserving time to really get to the questions that you have. So when Ms. Summons reaches out to you, if you'll be very explicit in what you do want to know more about, what conversations you would like to have with the charter panel members. That way we can kind of schedule and make the best use of your time. Also, if you'll let her know if you would like for that to be a face-to-face conversation or a Zoom conversation, we will provide whatever the charter panel members would like to have so that it best meets your needs as well. Anything else you would add? Okay. All right. Then I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Meeting is adjourned.
Recording stopped.